Okay, so welcome to commentary on Commune 1 video. This is part 2 of that. So to carry on, the next expression that comes with this process is strange desire, P2. Now, P means protocols. The protocols which are commonly known as the protocols of the wise men of Zion, which apparently are fraudulent or forgeries, or yes, they didn't get their source from these Jews, these wise men of Zion. They're infamous, these protocols, and if you've ever read them, they're very heavy and very dark and very intense. However, they are information, and for me personally, I've studied these to a point, looking at the mind behind this information and the protocols, and seeing a history of the human unfolding, if you like, of the world. And I've seen that these protocols, all that be this information within them, be as it may, they're forgeries. They've come from somewhere, and they for all the darkness within them, they are quite significantly accurate with many of their pathetic stuff. Pathetic in the sense that the protocols say, we will do this, and if you look at history, you can see that that's exactly what is being done. So in a sense, if they are in some way true, which they seem to be, as far as how to capture a planet and move the planet's population in a certain direction. This direction the planet has been moved since way before the introduction of these protocols into the modern history. You know, in the turn of that century, the 1900s, etc. These have, nonetheless, this is how history has been unfolding for thousands of years. But to that point, it's like been secret, and then it's been let out. The secret has been let out. And to me, it's like, if you study it, and you can see also that there's an antidote in it, and how a sort of a how to stop this plan from happening, in a sense, like perhaps like snake venom can kill you if the snake bites you, but the very venom that can kill you can be milked from a snake and used as an antidote to stop that poison from killing you. So in the same way, it is better to look at things, even though they're unpleasant to look at, and deal with that unpleasantness and move through it to see if there's something within it that can be used to stop the plan that's written within these protocols. So anyway, that was it. It's a strange desire, is what's being said here. Strange desire, these protocols. Protocol 2, it's zoomed in on, right? And the subjects of Protocol 2 have to do with economic wars, which is undeniably something that is happening even now, specifically now on this planet. 2012, November 2012. It's happening now, and it also is a heading, destructive education, as part of the protocol. So I went to the internet, and you can read them if you will, but to carry on with the communication, strange desire, protocol 2, record, avoid blowing things out of proportion, experiences, the solution, big question mark. What is the solution? Is there a solution within examining the problem? I believe so. I think so. But the solution, in a sense, if you read, for example, one of them talks, one of the protocols, or within the protocols, it talks about the mob and how to move on to those characters or personalities which are basically, if you like, charismatic and can move people into mob-like behaviour. You know, the Molotovs, the fighting with the police, all of that kind of thing works in the favour of those of these protocols of this disorder, of this destructive education. So the antidote would be to identify that and not be part of the mob, and to identify the personalities, the charismatic personalities who are stirring up the people towards that type of behaviour, and move away from supporting that type of personality. That's one aspect, but of a solution. There are many problematic things, but if we that are underlining human behaviour and how humans are herded this way and that, and how humans can wake up to that fact and move away from that, find solutions. Multi-dimensional moving, carrying on with the with the message, multi-dimensional beingness. I think where that comes from, I think, is something that James says, but in general, I think that's where I first heard it, and I liked it, so I put it on my list. But multi-dimensional beingness is to not just think of yourself, your individual self, as being the individual. It's hard to do, because we're actually sort of born into the individual, if you like, and that's how we grow up and identify ourselves. We identify with the human instrument, the body, and the family, and the organisations and the community, and we identify our being, or our beingness, with that individual. But we are more than just that individual. We come from a multi-dimensional beingness, but there's more on that philosophy in general, what that can, if you like, that understanding or appreciation for not just being this ego personality, but being connected to a greater thing, a greater purpose, a thing with purpose, with good intentional purpose, pretty much sort of like an opposite of what the protocols and that the purpose is about. Okay, carries on. We groove together. Nice, we do. What's that saying? It means that I and my higher power, or my higher self, or my multi-dimensional beingness grooves together. We are in more sync. We are more synchronized than we were when I was just an individual with my individual concepts and of life and experiences, and my understanding has moved and grown in my head and in my heart and my whole being as to feeling comfortable with the idea of of being a part of something bigger. We groove together. And then it carries on. Lyricist designs, transposes and installs galactic tributary zones to a planetary system, awake, motivating, learning to fly. Lyricist is another connection with the Wingmakers. James of the Wingmakers put together the Wingmakers information within the organisation he calls Lyricist, which is an organisation with other people like himself with their different areas of talent, and that his area was in talent was focused more on the mythological, or bringing myth into the spotlight, if you like, human myth, using that myth to show the storyline of human evolution, and to help the individual to come into a greater realization of what those myths actually are representing, what they're about, and how they can help us sort of break out of our shell of individuality and into a more harmonious interrelationship with our greater shared reality, life on Earth. What are we doing here together? It's awakening and motivating, and this learning to fly expression has to do with being free in a sense. It's poetic for that, but it also has another meaning for me, which is learning to leave my human body and what they call astral travel. I haven't done a lot of it, and I'd like to talk about it more at another time of my experiences to date. But anyway, that's what learning to fly means to me also. And then the next expression is, do you want to talk about it? And I thought about it yesterday and thought, no, yes, I would like to, but no doubt I will later. That was my reply, which in a sense is what I'm doing right now, talking about it. The next expression is FSQ, which again is going to the first source document and selecting the paragraph Q, which says, you evolve inwards, ever in the direction of my creator soul. This is the province of myself that does not indwell you, but indeed is separate from you, as the stars are isolated from a deep cave. This place is the source and destiny of your existence, and from it you descend into the cave of your animal origins, where my voice falls silent to your choices. In a sense, this is what I've been talking about through both of these commentary videos, is the sense of being awake to myself being more than just the individual in my little deep cave, isolated from anything else that is either a threat to me or of no use to me, because I can't gain any financial credit from it, etc., etc. There are many distractions in life to keep the individual locked into the individual's individuality, not seeing the greater picture. This is what this is talking about, descending into the cave. We come from something, we go into, we incarnate, or the avatar aspect of it, our consciousness, and within the human instrument, we are cut off from the memory of any prior life or experience, and we are a new thing. And unfortunately, in a sense, that beautiful cute little babies that we are born as, apple of our parents' eyes, etc., it is also a container that is basically empty and open, innocent, etc., to any information that then the world can put into it. And human beings put a lot of crap basically into their babies, into their children, unwittingly, some of them with all the greatest intentions, but in a sense it's our parents went through the same experience, as does everybody. We go through the same experience in the sense that we are all empty containers that get filled up with stuff that is not very good for us as a whole, human species on a planet, floating around in a galaxy, floating around in a universe. So the expression goes on a little more, the communication, make it up as you go along. In a sense, this is part of what we have to do, but it also is referring to that thing we call random, which isn't so random at all. Once we connect and start to learn to appreciate, and we stop being the internal reacting to all the external. So we have the internal, which is us, what we see of ourselves, what we understand of ourselves. Everything else is not us, it's outside of us. But it's if we learn to change the way we see things, we learn our thoughts, which is predominantly a part of how we see ourselves. Our thoughts can start to correlate or interact with an understanding of this so-called external, and we can see the synchronicity start to click into place. Part of that bridging effect from one state to the other is making things up as you go along. In a sense, it's not wrong to. It's just sometimes there's no other information out there which can help that process. So you have to bring it in from in here, but in here is also connected to something else far vaster than what we understand ourselves or even our species to be. So the next expression was green light. So make it up as you go along. Green light, obviously go for it, go faster than light each morning too. What does that mean? Is it gobbledygook? In a sense, no, I think it's a bit of a lot of humour as to what I do personally. I had to think about it. Of course, it may have deeper implications, but from what I can see now in the now, faster than light each morning too, through others, gateway expression of appreciation of experience. Okay, we're going back to that expression of appreciation of your experience. Each morning when that alarm clock goes off, ask my partner even, I don't lie in bed, I'm awake. I hear it, I'm awake, and before I'm even fully awake, I'm out of bed and into it. I do my things because I've got to prepare for work. I have a quick look on the internet, but through others is an interesting expression, because this is what's happening in general now. Real life meaning the more physical, hands-on stuff, but also within this cyber life of connecting with other physical beings in a non-physical way. There's an appreciation, there's a happening where we're sharing information and experience and seeing the similarities, seeing the connections, and having that appreciation for that. And then the communion finishes off with the last three words: augment heart virtues. Now, heart virtues are another thing that James has introduced, which has to do with appreciation, but I don't know them offhand, because it's like in memory. I know a few of them. Valor being one, understanding being another. But anyway, there's 6 of them, and the augment is to augment those heart virtues that you're practicing. Augmenting something, I wasn't sure what the word meant, so had a little look, look up. But eventually settled on it's to increase or to add something in order to make it larger or more substantial, or to grow in this way. So this is how we augment those virtues, is through our expression to others, our expression of appreciation of their experiences and our experiences, and we're working together on this. We are not individuals working alone. Anyhow, that's another 20 minutes or so. I better stop there. Cheers.